Welcome to Synchronicity. It's been 3 weeks. I've been a negligent podcast host, but guess what? Sometimes you just got to take time to rally the troops, get your shit together, and get back out there. And that's what I was doing. I hope the end of your 2022 was a nice thing. I don't know how else to say it. Before we get started on this episode, big shout out and go support these guys. Ned, they are making a new product called Shut Eye Chai. This is their latest kind of effort and foray into wellness. If you're anything like me, then you know how important sleep is to your life. I am a night owl, but I also recognize that when I can get good quality sleep, my life tends to go a little bit better. It's good to get sleep. Also, that's where you do the unconscious metaphysical work of kind of getting all of your dreams to come true. So we like sleep. Go check out their product, Shut Eye Chai. This is chai tea. It's fantastic, loaded with magnesium and other awesome brain-enhancing stuff. HelloNed.com. Use the code SYNC, S-Y-N-C, at checkout. You get 15% off your order. That's for anything, but definitely check out this new Shut Eye Chai. It's pretty dope. These guys have been longtime supporters of the podcast. I think I'm going to have Rhett and Adrian, the founders, on in the not too distant future. Just stay tuned for kind of all the things that they're about. And like I said, go support them. That's HelloNed.com. Check out their products, 15% off your order. You get if you use the code SYNC, S-Y-N-C. Okay, business out of the way. Oh, man. Well, let's talk about a few things. Let's get the Dolphins chatter out right at the beginning of the episode because they're ruining my life as they always do. This is what the Dolphins do. They make me think they're good. They suck me back in and then they destroy my soul. I'm not going to get into the specifics because it's too painful to talk about. I will say I got blackout drunk essentially on the first day of the new year watching the Dolphins lose to the Patriots in miserable fashion. Yeah, it sucks. Also, there's probably, if you've heard about it, some controversy going on in the NFL. We unfortunately had a player go into cardiac arrest after a hit in the Bills-Bengals game, which is looking like it will be, a no contest. They're not going to replay it. It's a tragic circumstance. I'm hoping the player and his family get good news. It's kind of just one of the brutal things about football. You'd think it would happen more, but people do, unfortunately, it's a serious sport. There's no division of weight classes and who's hitting who, and it was unfortunate that it happened, and I'm hoping they get better. It's just a reminder that the sport is pretty fucking brutal. It really is. You can do a lot to kind of protect players at the end of the day, but really what they're doing is they're putting their lives on the line every single time they go out there. So kind of a somber note to start the new year. For patrons, you kind of know I dropped a little preview of what I think 2023 is going to be about energetically. We're going to do a group reading today. And before we get to that, I want to start and let you guys know about something I'm calling the Imagination Illumination. It's not a challenge. It's just something that I'm committing to for the next 30 days, or at least 28 days. We'll give it a lunar cycle. Here's the thing. You're always creating, you're always manifesting, you're always believing and agreeing to a way that reality is. It's just sometimes we lose focus of that we're actually doing that and that we have that control and ability to do it. And one of the things I have taken stock of over the past few weeks, but especially over the past year or so, is when things are really just totally objectively, unequivocally clicking for me, I was doing certain things with my life. One of those was physical exercise, which I am a huge proponent and believer in. And it's kind of cliche at the beginning of a new year to kind of get back on the health train. But I do think your physical health, whatever that means to you, whatever that looks like to you, you know what that is. Paying attention to it and taking the time to really honor that is incredibly important. So I'm recommitting to that at the beginning of this year and hopefully for the rest of the year. But one of the other things that I was doing when things were just really just locked the fuck in. At first, we have to be honest with ourselves when we kind of recognize when we're in a serious flow state and when we're not. I'm definitely the type of person when things are going good, things will be great forever. They're never going to be bad. This is always going to be good. And it's just, unfortunately, even though we want that to be the case, it's not how we navigate life. It's not how we throw challenges and threshold guardians like fear, doubt, and uncertainty at ourselves. It's just the way of this world. It's a dualistic world. We have positive, we have negative. These are charges and polarities that exist in our metaphysical and physical realm. So we honor that by acknowledging there are periods when we're more in clicky and more in flowy, right? So one thing, though, that was incredibly helpful and useful for me was keeping a journal. And it doesn't need to be a journal in the sense that you recap everything you did that day and how things are going and how you feel, although you can do that if you want. But it's a manifestation journal. It's an imaginal journal. It's something where you write down either a series of I am statements like, I am living in abundance, I am growing and prospering every day. And it can also be affirmations of like the Joseph Murphyan style, right? So something that you could say is, every day I'm growing in health, wealth, honor, love, generosity. As I move through life, I am blessed and those around me are blessed. Things like this. So what I'm suggesting, and this is what I'm going to be doing over the next 30 days, is keeping a journal every single day. I'll write the date at the top and I'll write my series of I am statements and I'll write down what my desires and dreams and what I'd like to kind of experience in life. I'm going to keep track of that. One thing I've really found is when you do that, you have this ability to go back and see the changes take place. It also gives you a sense of consistency and focus that is pretty essential. Now, some of us at various times can be really natural and good at creating situations for ourselves and just kind of allowing the magic to prosper in our lives. But sometimes that's not as accessible, right? It's just not. Objectively, sometimes. So doing something like this, writing down, imprinting into reality, literally with pen and paper, not voice notes, not typing out a click-clacky on your phone or a keyboard or whatever it is, but literally taking a pen in a notepad and keeping track of this stuff on a daily basis not only gives you this retrospective ability to look back to see what's working, what isn't, but also it keeps you focused. It also has the ability to unleash kind of perspective on what you really want. What is it that you're really searching for? Is it a relationship? Is it financial security? Is it comfort? Is it love? Is it health? Whatever it is, you will get to it. Trust me, after a few days of doing this, you're going to see how your desires really morph and change and kind of elucidate what it is you're trying to do. So we're getting serious about this in 2023. I alluded to it, but 2023 is going to be an interesting year. I think 2022 was a very difficult year for a lot of people. We're really in the midst of this transition, and we can see this with the technology that's coming out, which is just kind of the world events and just the overall uncertain aspect of our age as we move kind of through a turning, if you will, through to a new era of what's going on. We'll look back in 10, 15 years and be like, wow, that was really a shifty point in our time, like shifty in a kind of transitional state, not shifty like shady. So it's just happening. My intuitive sense of 2023 is it's going to require some real effort on our parts to get through it gracefully, with a lot of love, with a lot of care, and with achieving what's really important to us. So if you've had things that you've put on the back burner or you've procrastinated on or kind of got shifted to the back because of the pandemic or other things that are going on in your life and just globally going on a macro sense, this is what we're really trying to like bear in and focus in on. For me, I'm making it clear, I'm stating it now, that means releasing a lot of music that I've either already made or will continue to make. And I can see this clearly when I go back in my session folders and I see that, my output really dropped. And this is normal. So whatever you have going on in your life, just honor that. I have 3 kids. I have 3 kids with 2 different women. It's a lot at times for me to manage my responsibilities as a partner, as a father, and just as a human being in the world. But if I allow myself to kind of get moved off my mark and I lose sight of the things that are important to me, which is creative output, this podcast, talking to people, doing readings, just things that really like nourish my soul, I get to be kind of like a miserable person, and that's good for no one, especially me, but definitely the people around me too. So if you've kind of found yourself in a rut or you're kind of stagnated a little bit, the idea with this Imagination Illumination Challenge is to just get us to move. It's like doing the one step in front of the other thing. We will recap these challenges and how we're doing week to week on the Patreon. So if you're interested and you've been on the fence about joining it, this is the time to be doing it. We will be coming together, talking about what's been working, what's not been working, sharing our ideas, our successes, hopefully even coming up with kind of like a mastermind group to really discuss like how to do this shit in life. When you find that your inspiration is flagging, or maybe you're not putting in the same amount of effort that you were before, having a community of people is of the utmost importance. You can get inspired by other people. They can help you. They can provide support. Remember, these are manifestations of who you are as a being. You've created this network. You've incarnated into this life to experience everything else around you. Solitude is wonderful. For someone like me, I really cherish and value my alone time, but I also recognize the innate power of community to help you in times of challenge. And I do think 2023 is going to be a year of challenge. That doesn't mean bad, right? We've been doing these Christ consciousness readings. They just wrapped up. And one of the things I go over in the way I read astrology charts is, squares and what are traditionally known as like debilitating aspects. So negative aspects. They're not negative in the sense that they're bad and they're meant to hinder you and hurt you and stop you. It just means there's a challenge there. And you have those challenges to reveal something deep and true about your innate ability to kind of be awesome at life. That's the best way I could say it. So this is a way to get us refocused. You do not have to join the Patreon to participate in the challenge. I will be updating it every week as I release a new episode. We will have 4 episodes at least this month come out traditionally, and we're just going to kind of try to hold ourselves accountable. I want us to be able to be, as a community, a group of people who can weather any storm, who can thrive in the good times, do well in the bad times, exist in the boring times. That's what we're looking for. We don't want to just ride the waves when they're good and, be like, oh, things are bad when they're not going well. So hopefully this will be something that helps inspire you and get you on track. Now, if you've just been fucking killing it and you're like, I don't know what Noah's talking about, things have been super easy for me, I've just been on fire, good for you. Cherish it, love it, appreciate it, because life is long for most people, and it can be an up and down ride. Okay, so get your pen and paper out, do your challenges, do your daily stuff every day. I think you will be impressed and amazed at how just such a simple thing as like writing down what you want, how you feel, what your dreams and goals are, really can help you kind of take action in the ways you need to be doing. And action is something that comes after an internal decision, right? We know signs follow, they never precede. You don't get a sign or a validator of something until you have made the internal change. A lot of people wait for signs. They wait for indications of progress. It's not how it works. You make the decision first. You construct a belief that you identify with and embody, and then you move yourself to a new realm. And you're the person who gives it to yourself. There's no external source. We've covered this ad nauseum. There's nothing else out there that's going to do this for you. It's an internal decision. And, be thankful and appreciative of the difficult times. You really get a sense of your true power when things are not kind of existing the way you want them to be for your comfortable, secure life, right? So that's my spiel for the beginning of the year. I hope it is going great for you at the beginning of it. If it's not, don't worry. We're going to have this podcast this year. We're going to have this community. We're going to keep ourselves going in a lot of different and fun ways. So buckle the fuck up. It might be a rocky ride at times, but we're going to do good. How's that for a button? All right. Let's get to the reading. We're doing traditional tarot with the Rider-Waite. Fun times. That's how we do stuff this time. So we're going to do a Celtic cross, a good old-fashioned Celtic cross. Nothing wrong with that. And I will explain as we go on. If you have any questions, any comments, obviously feel free to join the Patreon. Send me an email at noah@syncpodcast.com. The Discord community also is going quite strong. Crypto has been a clusterfuck, but as with all things, it is cyclical. Things will be back. Not the worst time to start looking, kind of seeing what's going on there. Not sure we get this epic turnaround that people are hoping for in 2023 in the crypto world. The macro stuff is not looking so great. There's still a lot of kind of shit to be worked out with FTX and all that stuff. But if you know anything about me and this podcast and kind of what I believe, and I've witnessed since about 2013, since I've been involved with Bitcoin and the crypto scene, it's all cyclical. It absolutely will come back. The more people and the more you feel that it is absolutely dead or has a chance of dying and never will come back, that's the point to start paying attention and being like, okay, maybe I pick up some things and forget about them for a year. Not the worst idea. Okay, let's look at our current situation, rolling into the new year, rolling into 2023. What do we got? Ace of Swords reversed. And this feels pretty appropriate, right? So we're talking about clarity when we're talking about swords, right? Mental clarity, mental acuity, being able to suss out what is going on in the world and in our own minds, and just kind of like being able to forge a new path with that clarity. Obviously, with the reversal, we kind of have a distortion of that energy. It may not seem so clear what it is we're supposed to be doing, but this is where we get that kind of wisdom and knowledge to go, all right, put one step in front of the other. Go back to basics. Go back to the basic imaginal techniques. Feel yourself from your own perspective with your mind's eye into the situation that would imply that it has already happened and is true, right? So really take the time to go back to basics and plan out our moves without necessarily having the luxury of like perfect mental clarity. I get it. It sucks. I like to feel, like I know exactly what's going on. Also, we have this Mercury retrograde going on right now, which feels like sometimes it's always Mercury retrograde. We have Mars retrograde ending in about a week and a half, which will be nice. This retrograde for Mercury is more about reviewing what has and hasn't worked. It's not so much, yes, there may be local travel issues. There may be machine stuff that's not going the way you want it to. For the most part, this is like a review period of our lives, of where we are as a collective. So take the time to kind of review what has worked and what hasn't worked and plan accordingly, okay? Challenge for us, Knight of Pentacles. This is like classic Virgo energy. We're talking about details, people, details. Really being able to plan out, crossing your T's, dotting your I's, look at the kind of stuff that makes things work on a minute and intricate level. It really also implies like a good degree of planning. That's good that we're doing our imagination illumination stuff, because you can't kind of like wing it all the time. I'm an excellent wing-iter person. I love to, shoot from the hip, do things kind of, not necessarily with the firmest plan in action, but the more we're able to kind of plan out our stuff at this time, map it out, we will be rewarded for that process. And this feels very accurate just kind of for where we are. So if you've gotten by in the past with kind of not planning things, maybe put some real attention to like writing things down, planning things out. Have some semblance of an idea of what it is you want to do. You will feel yourself into the situation naturally, but just allow yourself to like actually take some time to plan stuff. That's like, poison to me sometimes. I'm really not a planner, but it's a challenge for us, but it should pay dividends. Okay. The past. Yeah, Seven of Pentacles, right? So we've planted a lot of the seeds for what is to come already. And what we've experienced is that we have to be patient about letting those things come to fruition. And that can be a challenge, especially if we're, really ready to go, really make a change, really have something new enter our lives. But we are constantly reminded, you've done the work of planting. You've put in the effort to get stuff into the ground. Now it's sit back and wait time. And this is a past energy too. So this implies this is something we've already done. Our challenge or our goal now is to not rip up the seeds that we've planted because we don't think they're working. So if things haven't exactly gone to plan, or your desires haven't been manifested in your truest expression and your truest dreams, don't worry about it. It's okay. Just let the process play out. It works all of the time. It never doesn't work. It only seems like it's not working when we kind of rip up those ideas. We rip up those imaginal acts because it's not conforming to our imaginary timeline. So if you're able to just acknowledge you have set some deep change in motion for yourself already, and be confident that that's true, you will then see it play out, in a pretty positive way. Let's then look ahead to the future. The Tower reversed. Well, it's better than seeing the Tower upright. The Tower upright is obviously radical, cataclysmic change. Reversed kind of has like a very cool meaning. If you look at the Rider-Waite tarot card, you'll see the crowns are actually still on their heads when reversed, which doesn't make a lot of sense, right? Or at least the woman in the blue gown, her crown is still upon her head, which indicates that maybe the reversal here is actually the correct way to look at this. Your emotional body is going to be what allows you to kind of comfortably move into that change. We're talking big change 2023. We're talking like shifting our core identities, shifting who we were, allowing ourselves to believe new conceptions of self, and also being able to surrender to that. We don't want to fight that process of cataclysmic change, and then we can get hit with that Tower upright, which is just like forced cataclysmic change, and that can be quite uncomfortable if you've gone through it, which you have. You'll remember what those things are like, and we want to kind of really be able to emotionally soften the blow by recognize change is coming and be prepared to roll with it. Right. And so, yes, 2023 is going to be a year of radical change for many of us, for all of us. Our ability to kind of gracefully move through that will determine how comfortable that change is. And I get it. You don't always want to go through such big changes in your life. You want to feel even keeled and kind of some sense of consistent linearity. But it's not ultimately how reality works, and our ability to shatter that illusion with grace really like goes a long way for us feeling fulfilled as beings and creators. So yes, cataclysmic change is coming, but I think we'll be able to soften the blow quite a bit with the right emotional perspective. So allow yourself to feel your emotions, right? Sadness, melancholy, frustration. Don't push those things away. You've heard me speak about it in the past in episodes about threshold guardians. These are quite literally threshold guardians. Those feelings that are maybe difficult or challenging to process and hold on to, those are those big baddie things that don't let us through the gates, don't let us into the club of imaginal desires and fulfillment. But they're pussycats. If you take the time to sit with them and comfort them and love yourself and people who may be going through difficult circumstances in your life, you'd be amazed how that can really turn into like a judo flip of energy. And that's what we want to do here. We want to be kind of Aikido masters, judo masters when it comes to flipping energy that maybe isn't going in the direction we feel that it should be going in. Makes sense? Makes sense to me. What's on our conscious minds? Decision time, Two of Swords. You can't hold on to the uncertain point of not making a decision forever. It's untenable, right? Your emotions are really asking you to focus on a decision that you need to make for your well-being. Make that decision confidently. It may feel uncertain. It may feel like you don't have the clarity, especially emotionally, to make that decision, but you really are being asked to make the decision. The counter to that is don't put too much pressure on yourself when we're talking about this decision, right? You may be looking at something square in the face that you have to make a decision on. Try not to feel the pressure of that. Try to recognize that this is like a catalyst that allows you to move forward towards something that really will make you feel fulfilled, happy, hopefully centered around joy, generosity, love. But yes, we feel the weight of what that decision is consciously. It's clearly at the forefront of our mind. So don't deny it. Don't pretend that it's not there, but don't also feel like you can just live without making that decision. You're going to have to make some choice in the future, probably the not too distant future, about your life and about what you're doing. And when you make that decision, you will feel a lot better. Unconsciously, subconsciously, let's see what's going on. Six of Pentacles reversed. So there's a bit of an imbalance going on, and this could absolutely be in the realm of financial stability. And I know for myself, this is a theme that has come up again and again, especially after the wild couple of years of, abundance for me that was just on another level. I know a lot of people went through that, and I know a lot of people are dealing with like difficult financial times now. We have, just from a macro standpoint, inflation. One thing I want to point out is that there is an infinite supply of whatever it is you need. You are never constricted by external circumstances or things that are going on that prevent you from experiencing abundance and just kind of what you feel you deserve. Now, that's the key. here. You feed the part of yourself that knows that you are infinitely allowed to take and have and feel whatever you want. If you start going into the mindset, well, I can't have this, it's just not the way it is, it's just not balanced, it's not right, that's not going to work for you. If you look at external situations, say, well, it's very difficult out there, it's very unlikely I'll be able to make progress in this particular area. No, that's not going to work for you. So this instability around finances, wealth, financial security, it's okay if you're feeling kind of like a bit like uneasy and unsettled there. It will turn around. There will be change in that realm. It's just maybe right now it doesn't feel like that's really what's going on. It's okay. That's why we're doing this challenge. It's why we're writing our stuff down. We can summon forth the reality that conforms to kind of our views on abundance. And I hope at this point you recognize the only thing that can make you feel wealthy and actually have wealth and abundance show up in your life is your feeling of feeling wealthy and abundant. You can forever talk about riches, talk about getting this, talk about being secure financially, talk about having money flow in droves and luxury and all of this stuff. But if you do not feel like a person who is worthy of that, it's futile. It will never come. It's why some people sometimes just naturally seem gifted at having money flow into their life. It's because they don't even think about it. It's just like not even a second thought. And I've played with both polarities. I've been on both ends of that spectrum. So I do feel qualified to speak about that. It's not like I've always had an abundance mentality. Quite the opposite. I don't think I even approached anything close to a true abundance mentality until my mid-30s. So if you're not there or it hasn't clicked for you yet in that regard, don't worry. It's something that money has such an outsized influence on our consciousness just because of the way the world is set up and has been set up for the past hundreds, thousands of years. But it's something we can hack, and it's a real tool and modality that allows us to see our power and feel empowered when we kind of get into the juice of it. So if you're feeling a bit, things are unfair or they're not going your way or you're not sure what you're going to do or things are looking bleak, yes, acknowledge it. Feel it, but then also say, you know what ultimately allows me to feel secure, abundant, infinite supply, dipping your cup into the ever-flowing river of abundance and scooping out what you need when you need it. You and your feelings. So if you're getting knocked down, if you're getting knocked off the horse and it's not feeling super flowy right now, that's all right. I'm here to tell you that this isn't wishful thinking in the sense that I hope this is the way it is. It is the way it is. This is a proven and tried and true fact. And we will prove this to ourselves. And I think it might be as quick as 28 days before we're really seeing some evidence of that. So hopefully we'll get that. Okay. Let's talk about our advice right now. Temperance. Has there ever been a more appropriate card for what we should be doing with our lives? Temperance, my friends. This is balance. This is emotional, balanced, measured with logical, rational balance. We want to have 1 foot on the ground, 1 foot in the intuitive waters, 1 foot in the practical, real world, quote unquote, 1 foot in the mystical waters of divine woo, right? This is what we need to be doing right now. Not all on one side, not all on the other side. It is a harmonious balance. We're in harmony with those energies. Now, that's not saying it can't be a 70-30 split, a 60-40, a 90-10, whatever is right for you. It just needs to be proportionally balanced. Take a look at your astrological chart, see where your planets fall in terms of the elementals. You know, I truly believe there's an alchemical formula for all of us. We balance those elemental factors to create that fifth essence, to create the thing that comes out of the 4 primary elementals, that magic, that ether that allows us to experience kind of transcendence, enlightenment, looking beyond the veil. So now, as important as any other time in your life, try to get to a balanced state. That is something that when you're doing your manifestation journal, whatever we want to call it, we're writing down in our books, appropriating a state of balance is something that I highly recommend. It's something that's worth putting some effort and time into. It should pay quite a few dividends in your life, and you'll see your world start to kind of like change and, you know, conform to what you believe to be true. Once you can achieve that state of balance, it's incredibly important. It gets you to the mountaintop, right? It gets you to the place that you knew you were destined to go to. It also allows you to navigate very difficult challenges with, like I said, equanimity and grace. That's what it allows you to do. So the Temperance card here, please take that as an invitation for advice for yourself to really like cultivate that sense of balance and harmony in your life. It will help you as much as anything else right now. There's a time for like active movement and pushing forward and rushing and going and hitting the books. And there's also a time to just like reel it back in and take a step back. This is just asking you to find the in-between route that allows you to move in any situation with equanimity, right? With a sense of security and being on sure footing, regardless of the terrain. Okay. External circumstances. What does your world look like out there for you right now? Oh, yeah, baby. I just like this. Can I say this? Like, the reason I still bother to fuck with tarot and astrology and all these other divine arts and modalities is like what they're really doing is just uncovering kind of what's at the root of our being collectively and individually. And the Nine of Wands is, I've never seen a more appropriate card for what reality is reflecting back to us. The Nine of Wands is the card of basically having the shit kicked out of you, but you're still standing, right? You have been through the motherfucking ringer, right? I am saying this to myself as much as anyone else. This is the card of the moment. This is what, when you're looking out in the world, you're probably seeing as much as anything else. But guess what? You are still standing. You haven't opted out of life just yet. You've made the decision to incarnate, to experience all of this stuff. It will be a satisfactory game for you. If you continue to put in the focus and energy into living your best life, not in a cliche way, but really actualizing your potential and what will truly make you feel fulfilled, this is like a very powerful card because you will get the shit kicked out of you sometimes. It's just inevitably how we treat ourselves, right? It's not how life treats us, it's how we treat ourselves. But you are still standing. You are still making the effort to get out there and do the shit you need to do. And we see the bandage in the Nine of Wands in the man. With the green boots, I might point out, we can do some color alchemy here. Green being the sign of growth. So the platform upon which you stand is really fundamentally rooted in growth. That's why we go through these challenges. This is why we go through difficult circumstances, right? Growth is the goal of why we kind of put ourselves through all this shit. Now, on the other hand, we see that there's a bandage on the head of the man that's in this. That means like we may be a little bit confused. We may have been knocked about on the head quite a bit and not have that sure kind of quality of mind that allows us to move forward with the utmost confidence. But nevertheless, like we're still there. We're still here. We're still getting our shit done. We're putting one foot in front of the other. And even if we look out in the world and we don't see all the results that we've kind of wanted at this point, I'm sure you can look out and find things that you're incredibly appreciative and grateful for. And that's kind of our ticket to moving through the energy of like having gone through quite a few challenges. Okay. Hopes and fears, Knight of Swords. Rest assured, there will be action. There will be movement. There will be rapid kind of surging forward in terms of our drives, our goals, our dreams, our desires. It is happening. I want to just say that with the hopes and fears. You may be incredibly skeptical and worried that that is not the case, that despite all of your best intentions and your energetic output and your attempts to kind of do this and do that, and it's just, you feel stymied in every way, that maybe it's just not going to happen. Maybe it's just slow and it's just never really going to work the way you want it to. And you're just going to have to pack it all up and go back to, just ho-hum, whatever it is, existence. That's not true. Okay, we'll see with this next outcome card. I don't know what it's going to be. We'll see what it kind of points to in terms of like what we can expect. But I can tell you that movement is assured. Rapid movement is assured. It is naturally going to happen, but it requires effort on your part. You have to pick up the phone and make the phone call. You have to answer the call if you're getting called to do something. Don't think you can just sit back and relax and do nothing and do some half-hearted kind of imaginal acts or like some dream work or whatever, and things are just going to like magically fall into place. It's not how it works. Sometimes it is, of course. Sometimes it is, but oftentimes it's not. It does require active participation, It's one way to say that. Participation on our parts. We have to allow ourselves to kind of do the internal dance that gets us to where we want to go and where we feel ourselves naturally to be. This is a lot of time modulation stuff, right? We play with concepts of past, future, and present, but how we are naturally feeling is that resonant tone that summons forth and outpictures on the screen of reality what's happening. Just try to remember that. So it's not like if you're feeling down or you're feeling blue or you're feeling frustrated that you should be worried that you're creating some negative situation in your life. Not at all. It's just be aware of that's what you're feeling. And then, let me see what I can do to shift myself into different realms of kind of consciousness. That could be as simple as listening to a song. It could be as simple as making a music. It could be doing an artistic creative project. It could be getting on a fucking treadmill. It could be lifting weights. It could be spending time with your family. It could be spending time alone. You will find the things that naturally speak to your soul that allow you to do these things in a way that feels positive, that feels productive, that feels fulfilling. And that's ultimately what I'm talking about here. This is a dance of being fulfilled. What's the point otherwise? To have a lot of cool shit? It's not that fun, trust me. You can have a lot of cool shit. It'll make you happy temporarily at best. Superficially, not really. Trust me, it's just not a game. The Lamborghinis, the big houses. Yeah, sure. I'm not in any way saying don't aspire to any of the trappings of luxury. It's just that's not it for you. You have something in your soul that is desperately begging you to allow it to come out. That movement will take place when you align with what it is you feel you should be doing. And that's something you determine. No one else determines it for you. See what the outcome is. Oh boy. 3 of Cups. Upright. So all of this kind of hodgepodge of difficult energy and internal work and external kind of, identifications, it is leading to a place of grace, shared love, emotional fulfillment, celebration, harvest time, reaping those rewards and sowing the seeds of not sowing the seeds, reaping the rewards from the seeds you have sown. Sometimes the, psychic ramblings get ahead of me when I'm speaking. Just trust in this. I know it can feel difficult. I know it can feel like that 9 of Wands energy, that you're just getting the shit kicked out of you. And will there ever be a payoff? What's the point sometimes? 1 step forward, 2 steps back, right? Like, why are we even doing this? Cataclysmic change in our future. Decisions need to be made. Feeling lack instead of abundance. Having trouble planning things. Things not moving at the speed we want them to. Searching for a sense of balance. Trust that this leads up to a picture of emotional well-being, stability, celebration with loved ones and friends, and just stuff that really makes your heart sing. That is where we are moving to. You must allow that dream to exist in order to experience it. It is very, very easy to be cynical in this day and age. I think it's easier than ever before. If you are inclined to be nihilistic or a cynicist naturally, you are going to find every bit of evidence that that is a valid worldview and an absolutely kind of like correct way of thinking. And maybe people who are optimistic or delusional or idiots or whatever. I'm here to tell you, as someone who over the past 3-4 years has experienced such radical amount of change in my personal life and such a radical sense of and shift in what it means to be like home and what family means. For some, I'm a Cancer sun sign. It's very important for me to feel a sense of home and family. That's like incredibly important, right? Mother hen type stuff, right? If we're all tripping together, trust me, I'm going to be worrying about whether you're having a positive experience, probably before my own stuff. So I've had to go through a lot of changes in that realm, and it has not been comfortable at times, and it's been sad at times, and it's been difficult, and it's really kind of had me question my sense of optimism at times and my sense of well-being. But I'm here, man. It's fucking 2023. We're moving into a grand new cycle of actualization, individuation, enlightenment, whatever you want to call it. We're here to experience this, of course, on an individual level, but also collectively with one another. For the people who want to do that, right? There are those of us who are really interested in sharing things that help make our lives better. And we all have a piece of that puzzle. We're all the whole puzzle, right? We're all the whole thing done, but we also have little individual fragments that form an even grander fractalized puzzle. Does that make sense? And we all have little tools and insights and things that we can share. It's one of the most amazing things I've seen about any community that I've been a part of or formed or created. It's how community really supports itself once there's enough kind of like tipping point of interested, caring, generous people. And just remember, ask people how they're doing. Ask how you can support if you feel you're capable of giving support. Please ask people for support if you need it. You would be surprised how many people are out there who genuinely want to help you. A little imagination tip. We use this to really determine where you are and how you feel about yourself. As you're constructing an imaginal act, right, as you allow yourself to enter a state akin to sleep and you close your eyes and you go from a first-person experience and you create a situation from within your own body that implies something that you desire or you would want to be, include friends, include family, include even people you don't know, and see what their reactions to you are. How do they react? Do they naturally say, "Oh my God, I'm so happy you're doing so well. This is really amazing"? Or do they say, "I'm not buying it. I don't think you really feel like this. You know, maybe this isn't going to work. Maybe this isn't going to happen the way you want." That's okay. That's your test. That's your test to see really where you're at and how you feel about yourself. When you see people in your imagination acting consistently a certain way that implies, yes, you are that. Yes, that belief has really taken root and kind of like taken hold in your identity. You will see changes in how people act to you imaginally. And guess what? Once they do that, just like you could count it in days at most, where you will see those changes outpictured into your screen of reality, right? And so I just want this Three of Cups card should not get lost in all the muddled, kind of tough and difficult energy that we may expect. But this is going to be a year of celebration. We will end on a high note. We will end on a very positive thing. And I'm not saying this because I want it to be. This could be another challenging year in tons of ways. There's nothing to guarantee that this is all positive all the time. But I trust and put my belief in the tarot because I recognize it as a manifestation of universal and personal energy that has not failed me yet. Right? There's a reason I still do these readings as much for other people as I do it for myself. Like it really is something that when people let down their guard, are willing to experience their kind of subconscious energies through any divine mechanism, that magic really happens. So it's a hopeful message for 2023. We'll go through some practical nuts and bolts stuff. A reminder, please get your pens and paper and notepads out. Start tonight, if you hear this when this is released, or tomorrow, whenever you're hearing this, take the time to do that. We will be checking in. We will be doing fun stuff. There is a live stream happening for patrons this Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Also, I've been jumping on Twitch, playing some games, just hanging out there. So if you join the twitch.tv/syncpod, you will see those. We'll be hanging out, having a good time. We'll also be doing some music tutorials and making some music live on air this month and starting for the rest of the year. It's something that I love to do. I'm doing anyway. I might as well share it with those of you who are interested. I'm going to create a place. I'm not sure where, on which social media, on which kind of housing destination, of all of the music I have created over the past 20 years. Like, there's a lot of stuff out there. I'm releasing it. It's well past the time where people are like, where do I find your music? Some of it's out there, some of it is not. More of it and most of it will be out. So expect that. I do have a SoundCloud, which you can find, but I also have other places, and I'll make it clearer for people. That will obviously come out to the patrons first, but it will be publicly available for everyone in due time. I feel like the period we're in musically really aligns with what I've been doing for the past 20 years, which is, I have some songs that maybe aren't completely finished, but are finished enough for release in this day and age. So I'm looking forward to that. Just be loose with it as you can this year. Try to be really easy on yourself. Don't kick yourself when you're down, basically. It doesn't lead to any positive results. It just kind of perpetuates a state of stagnation and whatever kind of negative mind state you may be in. So just try to be kind to yourself. You will naturally find yourself being kind to other people as you do that, and that can only pay dividends. One thing I learned from these Christ consciousness readings is I really like the fact that I recorded these and can send them to people after the fact. So I have opened up a new tier of readings for people who are interested in it. We still have the regular quick hitter 15, 20-minute readings, which you can sign up. They're via phone, and we do those as normal. They're very useful. People seem to like them. I enjoy them. But now there's also going to be a 45-minute extended reading. We have a little bit more time together. They'll be recorded. I'll send you those recordings. We'll go over your chart. We'll go over cards. We'll go over a bunch of stuff and hopefully kind of get you clicking into that manifestation energy that we want to be and just kind of like accessing your higher self. Don't forget to check in with your higher self on a regular basis. Don't be afraid to ask yourself, what is my best intention? What am I trying to actualize here in life? Do that regularly. Don't lose connection with that. It can be so easy to get sucked into the mundane 3D quote unquote world at times, but just check in with your innermost desires. Don't be afraid to loosen the lid a little bit, whether that's psychedelics or whatever it is, getting a little freaky deaky. Just be prepared to kind of take those steps for yourself. And I think you'll be rewarded. I'm quite sure of it. So again, get out your pen and papers, get on the Patreon if you feel compelled to, sign up for a reading, do the things, whatever you want to do to get your shit done. It's going to be a good year, guys. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to hanging out and kind of creating a greater sense of like us being together as people who are able to accomplish a lot of fucking cool shit. You don't even know how many fucking cool people I've had the luxury and privilege of speaking to over the past 3-4 years specifically. Like, there are people who listen to this podcast who are fucking amazing, and I'm sure you're one of them. Like, there are some really cool people out there doing good shit. Don't be afraid to connect with each other. There's quite a powerful community here that's doing like a lot of fun stuff. So we'll leave it with one card. We'll do an animal oracle card, just kind of as like, what is the theme of 2023? What animal essence should we be focusing on? Should we be allowing ourselves to feel? Electric eel spirit, bring your ideas to life, right? This goes back to the idea of actualization. That's the theme of that I would like to get across from this reading that we did today, in this episode. Actualization. Take those steps forward that allow you to do the things that you need to do. Just do one step in front of the other. Simple shit. Write the book, create the thing, talk to the person, go after this, travel. Don't be hindered by external circumstances. You got this shit. I fucking love you. I will see you next week. Until then, happy imagining. Bye-bye.